Hi, this is Jeff Cohn with SI Restoration. Today we're going to talk about emergency planning. Before you hang up and before you stop the video because you say, oh, here's another emergency plan talk, let me and I already have one. Let me tell you the difference between what I'm talking about and what you're thinking of. All right. So what you're thinking of, in my opinion, is my ESP. What happens is that you're thinking, okay, well, we have a fire plan, emergency plan. You have a building has a fire, everyone goes out, we know where to stop, we know where to meet, we've done the fire drills. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is most likely, and 99% of the time, an emergency water damage situation. And you may say to yourself, what do I need a plan for? Because in fact, all I have to do is call restoration company, blah, 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 and they'll take care of everything. Well, yes, but I have to let you know that in severe water damage situations, you're going to need a little more planning. Okay. And this is where a restoration company worth their salt is going to be able to assist you. So I'm going to give you sort of details and then tell you at the end how to be able to get a plan for free. Okay. Anybody who charges you, get rid of them. So basically, what happens is, and I'll give you a scenario. I'm going to give you a sort of an artificial situation, but I'm going to be using actual situations that we have experienced, SI restoration in an emergency water damage situation. So let's give you a scenario. So the base scenario is the base scenario is that there is a sprinkler head that busts on the fifth floor. Cleaning service is there at Friday night. They're about to leave. They see it flowing down. Call the management company. Management company says, "Can you check it out?" They do check it out. Realize that it is a sprinkler head has busted, and it is flowing like Niagara Falls. Okay, so the manager says, "Listen, I'm coming over, but in the meantime, can you go and see whether go down to the shutoff valve and turn it off?" So they go, "Sure." So they go downstairs, find out, interestingly enough, that the door is locked. Okay, because someone thought it was a good idea. So the property managers and building owners and such will go, well, yeah, we never lock it. Well, guess what? Someone's going to lock it. I promise you, when you don't think so, because they thought it was a good idea at the time, and why not? So meanwhile, that just bought you another, half an hour of massive water coming down. The other problem is that if the property manager, who may know where the key is, may be on vacation, okay, and uncontactable at 9 o'clock at night because it may be at the bar or etc. So that's a problem, okay, and then you got to really think ahead about it. And those who may not be who have total responsibility are now left with that responsibility. So the lesson there we'll get into that in a second, actually. So the next problem is let's say somebody goes in there and has a battling ram and goes in there and busts the door down and turns off the water valve. The other problem is I have many buildings that have chains around it so that they prevent people from vandalism. So that's another problem you gotta face. So of course you can say, well, gee, now that I know this, I'll go back and I'll make sure it doesn't happen. Well, guess what? In time, people do things that you don't know about. So, excuse me. So there's that problem. So let's say you get in there and you turn off the valve. By that time, you called in a restoration company and they come out, and you may not have a restoration company handy that and you call up the guy that answers, and it's XYZ. Okay, so XYZ said, "Don't worry, we're coming out. We'll be out there in 2 hours." Okay, so they get out there in 2 hours, and lo and behold, they look around. They go, "Wow, we only have 6 people in our company or 10 people in our company. We can't do this. This is way too big." So then you're sitting here going, "Great, what am I going to do?" So then you're going to go search for an unknown restoration company. So let's pretend now that we have found a restoration company. If you're in the Mid Atlantic area, SI Restoration, my company, would be happy to come in and take care of that. And yes, we have that ability to handle pretty much any size water damage. Doesn't matter how big it is. We're that large. So what happens is that we get out there and we start. You say, okay, we need to start extracting water, to find out that there's no electricity because the electricity had to be turned off because all the water was flooding the wires. So a smart thing to do in that scenario would to have had an electrician who actually could come out at night. Don't go there and tell me your electrician sits there and will guarantees it. Make sure 100% that your electrician, because you're going to need electricity, and you're going to need a plumber, available, okay, who also knows your systems, okay, because you can hire a plumber and they're going to come in and go, I don't understand this, or the electrician goes, some electrician goes, I don't know, you know, I don't understand this part. I don't do this kind of work, type of system. So, and the alarm people, because you're going to need to turn off the alarm. Okay. So the other thing is the elevator, because guess what? Restoration companies have to lug up their equipment up and down, have to lug up their people up and down. And if that elevator is broken, it's a lot longer. Okay. And you wear people out. So my point here, and I'm doing this very quickly because I only have less than 10 minutes to do these videos, is you need a plan. Okay, and basically you have to be able to say, okay, I have a water damage. Here are all the things that could go wrong. Now you may say, look, I'm not in that business. I've really never experienced it that much to be that to that extent. So the answer is very simply is that you find a restoration company that's large enough that has the people, okay, and bring them in and say, listen, here's what we're going to do. I want you guys to come up with a plan. Now, most larger restoration companies are very experienced with plans, including SI Restoration. And and if you need a restoration company, you can message me. I'm no problem anywhere in the United States. We cover the Mid-Atlantic states of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Northern Virginia, D.C. And what we will do is we will sit there and at no charge, and we'll come in and basically say, okay, if we had a major water damage, what would we need to have you do as a property manager or a building owner, and what things would we need to do right away? And number one would be, of course, making sure that all your subcontractors who are dealing with all these trades know how to deal with the systems you have. That's number one. Number two, and I'm gonna tell you, okay, because I've run into this, is that you got a great electrical company. Wonderful. Okay. Smarter than smart. But guess what? They do offer 24-hour service, but they were just kidding. Okay. In other words, they thought, yeah, we're saying that, but when it comes to even though at 9 o'clock it ended, by the time you figure things out, it's 1 in the morning. You got many electricians that will say, I'm not coming out at 1 o'clock. Just wait till tomorrow morning. What's the difference? Well, the difference is, again, is that we have to run our equipment on electricity. So now that's one thing. Now there's also situations where you just can't. I mean, the electric's out. And then we would bring in generators. Now, with generators, of course, that's more money. And then you have to figure out, well, do I get, am I going to get covered for this by the insurance company? That's why you then have to bring the insurance company in, carrier, and say, look, what happens if? Can we bring in generators on a weekend, and you may not be available? Okay, so these are all the things that a restoration company with experience is going to be able to do, and have it in writing. And the reason for writing is because you're going to say, well, gee, I got it. I can pretty much put it in my cell phone, and it tells me exactly what to do. But of course, what happens at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night? You're in Tahiti, okay, and you're either sleeping or you are having a very good time, whatever you're doing, and are not available or not coherent to be available. So what we need to do then is to have a second and third backup in writing, so they don't have to call you, and they can say, oh, here's the plan, the playbook. We know exactly what to do. Okay, so this is a very generic, rough discussion about emergency plans when it comes to emergency water damage situations, but they're important. So to save you time and money, and make sure those tenants don't say, oh God, I'm not, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. So bottom line, because it's almost 10 minutes, and I thank you very much, Jeff Cohn from SI Restoration, emergency water damage cleanup, mold remediation, asbestos abatement. And we'll let you know that you can contact me either for a free, not filled in emergency plan, a template that I can send you at no charge. Even if you're not in our service area, it's fine. Again, Jeff Cohn, SI Restoration. Thank you.